What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. Well, for all of those people that were asking, why doesn't Larry Reid sue this person that is accusing him of these heinous acts? Well, the question has been answered. Larry Reid has sued the person that's accusing him of these heinous acts. I'm only going to read you guys a little bit of what's coming from the lawsuit, and then I'm going to come back with a deeper, more in-depth video. But this is just to give you guys a little bit of the facts. So in the lawsuit, it states some of the following. It says, while a member, so it talks about the fact that Larry Reid was a pastor of the church, and they talk about the name of the church and all that good stuff. Lord, y'all know I can't see. While a member of the church's congregation, defendant's mother expressed her concerns about her then 15-year-old son and his uncontrollable behavior, which included theft and lying. As a result, defendant's mother solicited the help of Reid's assistant pastor to mentor the defendant in the hopes of changing his troubling behavior. Reid was not a part of this mentorship arrangement, nor did he personally know the defendant at this time. Bryant was a part of the music department, that's his assistant pastor, and helped the defendant develop his skills and on the drums as part of the mentorship arrangement. In 2007, defendant, who was 17 at the time, and his mother needed a place to live, and the family moved into their home in Rayford, North Carolina, from Rayford, North Carolina to Raleigh, North Carolina, to live with Bryant. As a part of his ministry, Bryant routinely allowed displaced families and their children to stay with him and his family until they got back on their feet. While living with Bryant, defendant was introduced to Reid. Despite Bryant's efforts and mentorship, the defendant continued to display troublesome and unruly behavior. 2008, the defendant, who was unavailable to maintain a steady residence, requested and was allowed to move into a home owned by Reid, and it gives the address of where that home was located. I'm going to read you a little bit more. Samuel and Damian Reid, Reid's assistant Vincent Hill, moved out of the home shortly after the defendant moved in. So they're saying that his family members, Reid's family members, lived there, but then they moved out when the defendant moved in. After Reid's departure from the home, another family moved in. The defendant continued to engage in the same concerning and troublesome behavior, and even stole his new housemate's vehicles in the middle of the night. As a result, the defendant was asked to leave the home. In 2009, Reid moved back into the home and allowed the defendant, who by then was homeless, to move back in. At the same time, 3 additional church members resided in the home. However, after 3 months, the defendant was again asked to leave as he continued to break house rules and wreak havoc within the home and within Reid's ministry. The defendant began a sexual relationship with, the name is redacted, who was a leader in the church about 5 years his senior, and they were both asked to leave the ministry. Eventually, defendant and Mrs. name redacted apologized and asked to come back into the ministry. Reid allowed them back into the church. Defendant and Miss redacted returned to the ministry and continued to communicate, socialize, and participate in Reid's Billboard chart-topping music group, and continued a ministerial relationship with Reid for years. However, in 2017, Reid decided to dismantle the brick and mortar church completely and severed all communications with all members. Upon information and belief is enraged the defendant and led him to begin a smear campaign with Larry Reid, the subject of this complaint. I'm reading directly from the lawsuit, you guys, so in case you were wondering. I said I was going to read a little bit more, but this is interesting. Reid is an online personality who produced, okay, so this goes on to tell us who we are. I mean, what's going on. We know that part. Okay, just talks about Larry Reid's YouTube career, talks about him on Patreon, talks about the fact that he, gets into all of that, how many subscribers he has, so yada, yada, yada. Now, this part, I'm going to read a little bit of this. It's defendant's campaign against Reid. Beginning in December of 2019, a social media personality, Daryl Moore, began to disseminate a series of videos and live streaming videos on YouTube, which persistently and have Reid being a sexual deviant. On his YouTube channel, Moore revealed in 2019 a 2018 police report cover from Raleigh, North Carolina. The police report does not bear Reid's name, but shows the home, the street address in which they all lived. And I'm purposely not saying the address of the street. It's in the lawsuit, but I'm not reading the actual address. And reflects an allegation of forcible fondling. Reid was never made aware of this incident prior to Moore's YouTube video. Moore invited defendant on his YouTube video, where defendant claimed that he filed the police report against Reid, alleging that he reported that he was molested at the age of 14. Reid was never contacted. No charges were ever brought, and there's currently no active investigation into this claim by Raleigh Police Department. Now, remember when Simone was on our channel, Girl Is It Legal, she said that a police department is not going to, generally not going to be like, oh, well, we've thrown this out. We're not, this is done. She said they'll leave it open pending new information or whatever until the statute of limitations for that particular, they're not going to, unless it's, irrefutable, this case is closed. So the fact that they use the language, it's not an active police investigation, meaning, yes, the investigation is still open, but it was filed in 2018. It is now 2022. There's nobody's actively working this case at this point, is what they're saying. I just read that part. After the interview on Moore's platform on April 20th, 2021, Reid sent a cease and desist letter to defendant through his counsel. So he did send a cease and desist letter to the actual defendant, not just Daryl Moore. As a result of the cease and desist letter, it appeared that Blank refrained from spreading the false rumors until most recently with his alliance with Lamar Whitehead. On July 24, 2022, Whitehead, a pastor in New York. Okay, now it goes. So I'm going to leave it at that. It goes now, from there it goes into who Bishop Whitehead is and how him and Larry Reid came into contact and where that conflict came from. Like I said, we'll do a deeper dive with one of our attorneys over here so we can get into the meat and potatoes and what could possibly happen. But y'all tell me what y'all think. A lot of people were criticizing, saying, well, why won't Larry Reid sue? Why he go after Daryl Moore and but it looks like he did. And now he has filed a lawsuit. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.